Today begins with guilt is perhaps the most painful companion of death. With integrity, you have nothing to fear since you have nothing to hide. With integrity, you will do the right thing, so you will have no guilt. No work or love will flourish out of guilt, fear, or hollowness of heart, just as no valid plans for the future can be made by those who have no capacity for living now. Guilt, the gift that keeps on giving. Negative emotions like loneliness, envy, and guilt have an important role to play in a happy life. They're big flashing signs that something needs to change. Nothing is more wretched than the mind of a man conscious of guilt. No man can be judged a criminal until he is found guilty, nor can society take from him the public protection until it has been provided that he has violated the conditions on which it was granted. What right, then, but that of power, can authorize the punishment of a citizen so long as there remains any doubt of his guilt? Guilt is just as powerful, but its influence is positive, while shame's is destructive. Shame erodes our courage and fuels disengagement. Guilt is cancer. Guilt will confine you, torture you, destroy you as an artist. It's a black wall. It's a thief. Punishment is now unfashionable because it creates moral distinctions among men which, to the democratic mind, are odious. We prefer a meaningless collective guilt to a meaningful individual responsibility. Repentant tears wash out the stain of guilt. An exciting and inspiring future awaits you beyond the noise in your mind, beyond the guilt, doubt, fear, shame, insecurity, and heaviness of the past you carry around. The race of mankind would perish did they cease to aid each other. We cannot exist without mutual help. All, therefore, that need aid have a right to ask it from their fellow men, and no one who has the power of granting can refuse it without guilt. My guiding principle is this: guilt is never to be doubted. Guilt for being rich, and guilt thinking that perhaps love and peace isn't enough and you have to go and get shot or something. Fear is the tax that conscience pays to guilt. Now, I don't want to get off on a rant here, but guilt is simply God's way of letting you know that you're having too good a time. Great is the guilt of an unnecessary war. Guilt has very quick ears to an accusation. I know that a man who shows me his wealth is like the beggar who shows me his poverty. They are both looking for alms from me. The rich man for the alms of my envy, the poor man for the alms of my guilt. Denial, panic, threats, anger, those are very human responses to feeling guilt. 1,000 years will pass, and the guilt of Germany will not be erased. Consciously or not, we are all on a quest for answers, trying to learn the lessons of life. We grapple with fear and guilt. We search for meaning, love, and power. We try to understand fear, loss, and time. We seek to discover who we are and how we can become truly happy. I have never smuggled anything in my life. Why then do I feel an uneasy sense of guilt on approaching a customs barrier? Although the most acute judges of the witches and even the witches themselves were convinced of the guilt of witchery, the guilt nevertheless was non-existent. It is thus with all guilt. The worst guilt is to accept an unearned guilt. The Negro needs the white man to free him from his fears. The white man needs the Negro to free him from his guilt. Defending the truth is not something one does out of a sense of duty or to allay guilt complexes, but is a reward in itself. No matter how frustrated, disappointed, and discouraged we may feel in the face of our failures, it's only temporary. And the faster you can stop wallowing in guilt, blame, and resentment, the faster you can put it behind you. True guilt is the guilt at the obligation one owes to oneself to be oneself. False guilt is the guilt felt at not being what other people feel one ought to be, or assume that one is. Let other pens dwell on guilt and misery. When lovely woman stoops to folly and finds too late that men betray, what charm can soothe her melancholy? What art can wash her guilt away? Where all are guilty, none is. Confessions of collective guilt are the best possible safeguard against the discovery of culprits, and the very magnitude of the crime the best excuse for doing nothing.
Please like, subscribe, and start every day with a new word. Thank you.